Recording in progress. Very good morning, guys. So last day we just been completed discussing about working with multiple tables. So what I thought you guys, if you all want to work with multiple tables, if you want to work with multiple tables, you just require to create a new class combining the properties of both the two things and use them. Okay. And with this, we have been talked about working with link to SQL, link to SQL. So guys, if you are learning about link to SQL, I shown you three examples to you. First example, how to perform your cloud operations by using link inbuilt port. Second option, how to how to perform your cloud operations by calling store procedures. Third option, how to deal with multiple tables. You're just dealing with multiple tables. How to deal with the multiple tables is the other thing what I just shown you. We have the three things what we have been learned. Okay, link to SQL. Actually, this was introduced in .NET Framework 3.5. Introduced in .NET Framework 3.5. They introduced the link to SQL. And link to SQL, within no time, it became a big success. It became a big success. People enjoyed the object-oriented approach. People enjoyed the pure object-oriented approach of working. Second thing, people have liked the type safety available, IntelliSense support available. All the things are just going to be a big success. All these are going to be a big success. So people enjoyed a lot working with link to SQL. So at the time, a question arose in the market. What is it? Why only SQL Server? Why only SQL Server? Because if you remember link to SQL, I already said you link to SQL can be used only on SQL Server database. You can't use it on any other database. You can't use it on any other database. This can be purely used only on the SQL Server database, but not on others. So at the time, the question raised, why only SQL Server? I want to work with other databases. And why the option is not, why the provision is not given for other databases? Why the provision is not given for other databases? So in this process, Microsoft has then came out with link to entities. And coming to link to entities is as same as link to SQL, but it has some advanced features. ORM, all things are same only. Some advanced features are there. Plus, it gives a provision for working with not only SQL Server, it gives a provision for working with other relational databases also, like Oracle, MySQL. So other relational databases also can be used, not only SQL Server, but can be used on other relational databases too. That is the advantage what you have with link to entities. Actually, initially called as ADO.NET Entity Framework. Later on, they removed that word as ADO.NET and simply you are calling as Entity Framework. So you say link to entities, or you say ADO.NET Entity Framework, or you say Entity Framework. All these three are same. Some might use a word called as link to entities. Some might use a word called as ADO.NET Entity Framework, or others may say Entity Framework. All are same. But as of now, it is called as what? Entity Framework. It's called as Entity Framework. Am I clear? So what the difference means? I said you link to SQL, link to entities, both are same only. But you have advanced features here. You have advanced features and also options for working with other relational databases other than SQL Server. Not only SQL Server, you can use it on multiple relational databases. These are the benefits of link to entities when compared with link to SQL. So how to work with link to entities? We'll try to understand about it. Before you go, link to entities, guys, the development approach in link to entities as given as three different options. Link to entities gives you three different development approaches basically. What were three different development approach? Actually called as DB first, code first, model first. What is it? DB first, code first, model first. What is DB first? What is DB first? DB first means, listen, DB first means this is as the same as the SQL, link to SQL, what we discussed. What is it? First, we design the database. First, we design the database and tables. And based on that, we just generate the model classes to work. Yeah, that's what you've done in the last three examples. Nah? You designed your database. First, you have done database coding. Afterwards, you drag and drop them. Model class are generated and you started writing the code. Got it or not? And that's what we call as DB first. Okay, what is the first approach? DB first. And what we saw in the last three examples is DB first only. What we do first? First, we design the database, tables, procedures, all the things. Next, based on the database, we create the model classes to work and we start building the applications now. Okay. Second up, and the link to SQL provides only DB first. Link to SQL provides only DB first. But link to entities have DB first, second, code first. What is code first? Code first in the sense, in this case, what happens, we don't have a database here. We don't have a database here. Then what we have? Actually, in code first, we write the model classes first. We write the model classes. What we call domain classes. Domain classes means a combination of model and context. See, yesterday, when we drag and drop them, context, model classes, all are generated now. Even the context class is implicitly generated. We did not. We only written what? Controller and the DAL class. And DAL class, when is it required? No process. The process are there. DAL class also not required. So, domain classes. Okay, understand the terminology correctly. Domain classes. Domain classes means it contains two things. What is it? Context plus model. Context plus model. The combination of context class and the model class together is called as domain classes. In link to entities, what is the first approach? DB first. In DB first, we design the database. Based on the database, all the domain classes are generated. All the domain classes are generated. In code first, we follow reverse approach. What is the reverse approach? We define the domain classes. Means you only should write the context class. You only should write the model classes. All classes should be designed by you. And based on this, NT framework will create the database and tables now. Database and tables are not present there. We'll start only with the application first. Here we'll write one context class. Here we'll write the required model classes. Suppose you have 10 tables, 10 model classes and all. And when you run the application, what NT framework will do, NT framework will create a database and also creates all the tables to you like. This is called as code first approach. Third one is model first. What is model first? In model first here, there is no database at all and there are no domain classes at all. Nothing is there, blank. Everything is blank. Are you getting my point? Everything is blank. You are provided with one designer. You are provided with a designer. Using the designer, you are going to design the model class. You are going to design the model classes. Only a designer, just a drag and drops and we design model classes. And based on this, NT framework will generate the domain classes also and NT framework will generate the database also. Everything is done by the entity framework. See, before we started EDU.NET, before we started database programming, you defined all your model classes on your own, remember? Yes or not? Means you have the model classes ready now, but you don't have a database. So then follow what? Code first approach. What will code first do? Based on these models, it will create the tables to you now. Are you getting me? No, sir. I already have an existing database and based on that only I'm going to build my application. Then use DB first. I don't have anything at all. I don't have anything at all. There is no model class. There is no database, nothing. First to starting my application today now. Then use model first. What will model first do? Model first will generate the model classes also, and also database tables. Everything will be generated by NP framework to you. Like this, it provides you three different development approaches. We are going to see all the three. Okay, and I will not focus much on the DB first. Reason, last three examples, what was always DB first only. I will fully focusing on code first, because code first is very, very important. And coming to model first, that is provided with a very limited support. And again, this was removed off in our next version. It's not there. Actually, they don't encourage the model first. So model first is not at all a suggested option. A very limited support available. The next version of NT framework is Entity Framework Core. The next version of NT framework is NT Framework Core. We will start learning about that in MVC Core. When I start MVC Core, in MVC Core, I'll teach you NT Framework Core. Here we will not find model first at all. That's a model first. I'll show you one small example to you. That's all. I won't focus much on it. Model first also, it is the same thing what we already learned. The three examples on that. I'll not focus much. My complete focus will be only on the code first. Are you clear? But we'll start with the DB first. See one or two examples on it. Then we'll jump to code first, and we'll see multiple examples on the code first. And finally, model first, one example on the model first. I'll show you all three to you. Is that clear, everyone? Yes or not? Okay. So that's what we are going to see. Yeah, NT framework. Okay. Well, basically, you observe this. NT framework, actually, this is our UI, guys. Front end, our views. This is your database. And here you have the business layer, means all your domain classes. Domain classes. Domain classes means your model classes, context class, all the things. And this is the data layer where you have the NT framework. And this NT framework will be taking the responsibility to communicate with the database and the business layer. Business layer and the database. In between, you're going to have this. And business layer will give the data to UI back. Okay, this is a picture which shows you how the content will be present. UI means your view, guys. Here are your domain classes, your context class plus model classes. And this is your NT framework. This is ready made. You don't require to develop this one. NT framework is ready already. And this NT framework is a data layer which will interact with the business. So basically, this is how it will be present. And you see, I said yeah. NT framework, right now, we have two things here. One is EF6 and one is EF6 is actually used with .NET framework, and EF Core is used with .NET Core. It can be used on .NET framework also, but used in .NET Core. See this. 2008. Array, MVC came in 2008 only. Nah. Then only we have this also, NT framework also. With 3.5 SP1. Actually, see, listen. Link to SQL came in 3.5. It was a big success. Then people started asking for other data sources also. Then what came? Linked to entity scale. And in which version? 3.5 Service Pack 1. 3.5 Service Pack 1. They launched it. And when you come here, when this launched, .NET Core came in 2016 only. Then came this one. Next. It is stable, future rich. This one, new and evolving. Yeah, day by day, new things are coming now. Next. Supports Windows only. Cross-platform. .NET framework code is cross-platform. Next. 3.5 and above only. Okay, you can't use it on old versions. Here, it works on .NET framework also, but framework 4.5 and above, but full support for .NET Core. Actually, we don't use it with the .NET framework at all, guys. We use it with the .NET Core only. Both are open source. Both are going to be open source only. Okay, guys, listen, we are going to learn both. We are learning EF6 also, and we are learning EF Core also. Here we'll see EF6, in .NET Core we'll see EF4. Open clear? Okay, well, see EF6 versions started as 3.5. Afterwards, we have so many of this. Again 5, again 6, and the 6 again. Right now it is 6.4.4, remember. Yes. The current latest is 6.4.4, current latest one. Clearer? Okay. And when you come to EF Core, yeah, these are the versions of the EF Core. And the latest is 7, guys. The latest is, sorry, not 7, 8. 8 launched off in the market now. Yeah, the latest version of .NET Core is 8 now. Actually, one thing remember, from .NET Core onwards, what the big thing is, from .NET Core, you are working .NET Core 8. Then ASP.NET is also same version. In framework also same version. Everything will be same version only. Version won't change. In .NET framework only very hell. What is it? Framework will have its own version. ASP.NET will have its own version. Into framework will have its own version. But coming to .NET Core, no confusions like this. What are you learning? I am learning .NET 8. You're learning .NET 8, then you're working with ASP.NET Core 8. You're working with Inti Framework Core 8. All will be same version. So no confusions with .NET Core there. Okay. Yeah. So the current latest is 8.6 is the current version. Yeah. Inti Framework features. What are the features? It's a cross-platform. But I just given up the list there. But cross-platform means, again, EF6 is not cross-platform. EF Core is cross-platform. See, I mentioned you there, see. I told you, we are learning. Again, you're asking what is the difference. Read. First one. EF Core is cross-platform, not EF6. EF Core is cross-platform, but both are Inti Framework only. That's it. EF Core is a cross-platform which can run on Windows, Linux, and Macs. Next. EF modeling here. What is EF modeling? EF modeling is nothing but ORM, object relational mapping. And I said you there are 2 tools to perform ORM. One is OR Designer, we used in the last 3 examples. Next one is EDM, Entity Data Model. It creates your NVIDIA based on the POCO, plain old CLR objects. Means based on the classes, based on your classes, it will generate you tables, and at the same way, based on tables, it will generate you classes with get set properties inside of them now. You saw now when you drag and drop classes defined with all the properties now. That is what. Third one. You can use link querying. You can use link querying. So basically, when you use link query, Inti Framework will translate them into database specific queries. They'll translate into database specific queries. Suppose you're working with SQL Server, your link query translates into SQL Server query now. If you're working with Oracle, the link query translates into Oracle query. This is what I said you in the last class. Link is built on the top of ADO.NET. Behind the screen, what is used to interact with the database is ADO.NET only. You write a link query. Link query won't execute on the database. Yeah, link query converts into SQL query now. The link query converts into the SQL query. If you're working with SQL Server, it will convert into SQL syntax. If you're working with Oracle, converts into Oracle syntax. That's what querying is. Next. Change tracking. That. The change tracking, guys, basically it will keep identifying what changes has to be submitted to the database. If you remember, say you are loading some data into your application, guys. You're loading some data into your application. Some 100 records you loaded. Afterwards, you're trying to make some changes now and you want to update it. See, guys, when the changes go to the database, when you call submit changes, before that, all the changes are performed in the local copies. Am I correct? I want to add 10 records in the local. I want to modify 3 or 4 records in the local. I want to delete 1 or 2 records in the local. Finally, we'll call submit changes. When I call submit changes, all these changes will go to database at a time now. Are you hitting me? If you recollect the dataset architecture in your C# classes, what I explained to you, you make all the changes in the local copy, and once you say save, the changes goes to the database and update the database. And remember, all data won't go to the database. What will go? Only changes goes to the database. Only changes goes to the database. Read that carefully. You have keep track of changes occurred to instances of your entities, which needs to be submitted to the database. What should be submitted? That is only identified. You have 1,000 records. You added 10 records. If I say save, no need to send 1010 records to the database. What you are going to send? Only the 10 modified records need to be sent to the database. You don't require to send the 1,000 records to the database. What to be sent? Only the modified records need to be sent to the database now. So that's what change tracking is. Saving. All changes will make all changes what are made will be sent to database by using insert update delete statements now. And this happens when you call save changes. What is that? Nothing, man. Submit changes. We use it now. The method name change it to save changes in Enter framework. It is called submit changes in link to SQL, and it is called save changes in link to entities. Concurrency. Entity framework actually identifies the changes, man. Actually, you loaded one record into an application here and you modified it. Now you want to save it. And to save it, you are calling submit changes or save changes, and these changes goes to the database. But before these changes are saved, someone already modified that record now. Chance is there now. Someone already modified that record. It will inform you back. What it will inform? Already changes are made on this record. Shall I update it? Shall I override it? Or shall I stop doing it? Did you understand my point or not? After I loaded data, no changes are done there. Updates. But already some changes are done by someone now. So now be careful. Your changes, if I update, the changes will be overrun. So what are you going to do? It asks you for it. That's called as concurrency checking. What is it? Concurrency checking will be done. Next. Transaction. I already said to you guys, submit changes is called committing. That is transaction management only. Once you say commit, the data is saved to the server. It is going to save to the server. If I don't call submit changes, data won't be saved now. There is rollback. That's a rollback now. Okay. Apart from that, we can also maintain our own transaction. How? Let's see in SQL Server, even begin transaction, you start your own transaction. Otherwise, SQL Server is implicit transaction. Auto commit. SQL Server by default performs a auto committing. If you want auto committing to be stopped, you're required to say begin transaction, and then you should say commit or rollback. That is also possible. Apart from that, built-in transaction is also available for you there. Next, caching. Inbuilt caching mechanism. So repeated querying will not contact the database every time. What it will do? It will put the data in the cache memory and uses that data for you. 9. What are the built-in conventions? Or the built-in convention? Actually, we need to understand this in the code first approach. In code first approach, what do you design first? Model classes based on the database generated. In your model class, you have a column ID with a data type integer. You have a column called ID with the data type integer. You have a column called name with the data string. Now it has to create a table. When it has to create a table, what are the data types now? Do you have string in SQL Server? Then how? NT framework, the inbuilt conventions will do some mapping. If it is int, it will take int only. If it is a string here, it will create varchar, not varchar, n varchar. It will create a n varchar there. If you're using a decimal, it will use a decimal there. If you're using a float, it will use a real there. That's called built-in conventions. All these things I'll show you practical. I'm just only giving an overview of the things first, but I'll show you all these things in practical once we start developing our applications. Are you clearer or not? Now ID should be, every table require a primary key column now. Now you have 10 properties in your class now. Which one is primary key column? The column with the name ID is primary key column. How's that? There's all inbuilt conventions now. They're all the, if it finds a column with the name called ID, that is taken as a primary key column automatically now. And data matching, all these are inbuilt conventions, what I call it. Sir, can I change them? Sir, can I change those conventions? I want to change my conventions now. Yes, that's what the 10th point is. Read it. Override default convention. 9th point is telling you default conventions are there. 10th point is telling you you can change them. You can change. Next. To show this practically, how these changes are going to be affected on the database. That concept is called migrations. I'll show all of these things practically to you. Okay, just giving an overview. These are the inbuilt features what NT framework is going to provide to you. So if you just, we'll see all the appropriate things. The next thing is already what I explained to you. Watch it. We generate the context and entity classes, means model classes, context class and model class for an existing using how do you do that is not the question here. See, this is the database tables. NT framework, what are you doing? It's creating the context. Don't forget the context. Context is the most important class to interact with the database, correct? That context class is the connection actually. And also NT classes. NT is nothing but model. Array, model or NT both are same only. Na? Context or model, context and model classes will be automatically generated by NT framework. And see this. We have extensive support in EF6. Limited support for this approach. Which one? EF core. When you go to EF core, you will have only a limited support here, but you don't have extensive support for this. Are you clearer or not? Okay. So we will not be using the EF core means, I'm sorry, in EF core, we will not be using much about the DB first. DB first. Actually, the most important thing is code first only, guys. The most important thing is code first. That is only extensively supported in EF6 also, EF core also. Limited support for DB first in core and full support here. Model first, limited support and no support in core. No support in core. Yeah, next one. Code first. Do I have an existing database for our application? And in such case, models and context class first, and then generate the database from these classes using some commands are there. We'll use the commands. Domain driven design. What is the domain driven design? Means I like designing my classes first. I like designing my models first. I don't have any idea about the database. I have a full object oriented programmer and I have a good knowledge on entities, model classes, and all. So do that. Database will be generated for you based on this principle. First to begin with, and generate the database required to persist their data. Then you are going to generate the database for persisting your particular data. So see this. What do you have here? Picture is reverse. That's it. Okay. Third. Directly on a visual designer, just like say in your Windows programming, use it, design it, drag and drops and all. That type of options will be integrated in, and then generate entities, context class, and the database scripts from your model. And you generate everything now. Empty classes, model, context class, as well as database. Everything will be generated from the visual model. You see here? What is this? Now, entity framework is doing both the two things. See, generating context and entity classes, generating the database tables, generating the database tables also. Okay, see the note. Very limited support here, guys. No support at all. This is useless option. This is useless option. We don't require to focus much on this. I said, what is important? Do the first code first here. Do the first. Anyhow, you saw 3 examples in the previous classes now. I'm going to show one more also now. But all the focus is code first. That is only important. Okay now? Next. Just a minute. Using a development approach now. Which approach to use, sir? Okay, use this chart. You will understand now. Come on, start. Read this. I already have domain classes. Means I defined all the classes. Just like in starting day C, when we did not work with the database programming, we used to do this only that define our own employee class, define your own customer class. You designed your domain classes now. So what's available? Domain classes. You already have a domain classes. So then the question, this is a question. Understand the question? Already have domain classes? Come on, give me the answer. Yes or no? How you saying yes, yeah? It can be no also, na? Yes. It's a flow diagram. You need to follow both the two things. Yes, sir. You have yes, sir. Then use code first. No. Then another approach. Okay. See now. Yes. No. No, don't come up to a conclusion again. Okay. No means now see. Do you have an existing database in tables? Yes. DB first. No. I don't have existing database. Means I don't have domain classes also. I don't have database also. Then, do you prefer designing by using modeling now? Do you prefer a designer now? Yes. No, I don't prefer this. You don't prefer this? Then, do you want to design the database first? Yes. Again, DB first. No. Say for everything, yes, no, you need to analyze that in that way now. Yes, what to do? No means again multiple questions will come now. No, I don't have a domain classes. Okay, you don't have a domain classes. Do you have a database then? No, I don't have a database. I don't have a database. You don't have anything at all. So do you want to design it by a designer? Yes. No, first. No. Okay, you don't want a designer? No. Again, then you want the database first now? Yes. DB first. No. Code first. Again, you're required to come back to the code first approach. Are you clear? Okay, watch the picture carefully and you will understand like how you need to think for this. It will be a flow diagram which will tell you how the choosing of the approach will be in the real time now based on this. clear with all the four pictures I shown you? First one, TB first, second one, code first, third one, model first, and fourth one. Which one to choose? Which one to choose? Encode first, classes are created, domain classes. Guys, am I audible? Online students, am I audible? You came. Domain classes means model and context. Domain classes means two things I said here. What is it? Context and model classes. Context and model class combined together is called as domain classes. In simple words, without separating context and the model, we simply use one word. What is it? Domain classes. Domain classes means it will cover your context also, it will cover your model also, both the two things. So first let us start with database first approach. Let's start with the database first approach. How do you work with the database first approach? Am I clear, all of you? We'll start from there. Database first approach. Guys, if you want to use the database first approach, okay, if now you just wanted to use the DB first approach, the database first approach, nothing special to talk about it because already we learned with the same approach only in our previous examples. Okay, watch. Here, the only thing is you don't have drag and drops here. You don't have drag and drops here. Concentrate. It's a wizard. Again, just like the first example on link to SQL, concentrate. There is no coding. All are auto-defined. Here also same only, but no drag and drops also. It's a wizard. We need to configure the wizard. You're using a new tool now. What is a new tool? You know, EDM. Entity data model. Earlier, OR designer. Now, EDM is the tool you are using. Come on, guys, have a look. Let me create a new project. ASP.NET web application and giving the name as MVC with NT framework database first example. Okay. Again, MVC create. What we used to do in our link to SQL classes, configure the what designer, correct? Now also saying configure the EDM. Configure the EDM. Observe. Open the Solution Explorer, right click on the models folder, add new item. In the add new item, select the data in the left hand side. And guys, this is what I used in the last three examples. Am I correct? Go to the top. The first one is what we require to use now. ADO.NET Entity Data Model. I said you all these things are same only. ADO.NET Entity Framework, all the same names only. Okay. So this is the one we require to use. EDM, Entity Data Model. And what is the extension here? TDML, right? Stands for Database Markup Language. Here the extension is EDMX. What is that? EDMX, Entity Data Model Extension. Extension only. Entity Data Model Extension. EDMX is the full form of it. Okay. And now just select it. This is what. And coming below, you require to give a name for it. What name can I give? Any name you like. Any name you like. I'm giving the name as a test entity framework. But what I taught you in the link to SQL classes, use the database name I said you. Here, no restriction. Whatever name you want to give it. No issues at all. Okay. And click on the add button. Now a wizard will open now. See now, this is the wizard. Read. Choose now. What? DB first. DB first. Okay, MTEF designer model. MTEF designer model. What is this? Basically, this is model first. This is a model first, code first. And this is useless option. Code first from database, a combination. We don't use that. That's a bloody really useless option. But this is the first one. What do we have? What is that? DB first, model first, code first. You can read the descriptions in the below later. Okay. So let me start with DB first. Let me start with the DB first. Click on the next button. Now, once you click on the next button, just a minute here. Yeah, I'll tell you. Just a second. Yeah, once you click on the next button, now here you're required to configure your database now. Array, Dave, we used to do now. That is also same only now. Directly in the wizard only, it will ask you all the things. You want to configure the database. And guys, when you configure the database, remember, if you already have any existing configurations in the Server Explorer, if you already have any existing configurations in the Server Explorer, that will automatically load here. That will automatically load here. Actually, in my morning class, I configure my Server Explorer with one existing database called CSDB. That's it that is coming, and that's not ours. We're required to click on new connection. If your Server Explorer is blank, you won't see anything here. Point clearer or not? If your Server Explorer is blank, you won't see anything here. But if your Server Explorer is already having configured databases, that will come automatically here. Got my point? So just be careful. I hope you don't have anything configured. If you don't have anything, no issues at all. But if you have also, don't select off that one. Check it out. That is your database or not first. What to do? Click new connection. You know this window now. The same old window came now. Come on. Server. Yes, say 1, 2, 3. Here, what I said, you choose optional. Save my password. Choose database. MVCDB. Test. Okay. And guys, see immediately your database is coming here. And now you'll be asking you, shall I write this connection string into the config file for you? Shall I write it or not? It is asking. Yes, write me. Write me. Write me the connection string in the config file now. Choose the yes button. And at the bottom, it'll ask you, what is the key name now? A connection string require a name now? By default, it is giving a name now. What are the names? MVCDB entities. If you're okay with that name, leave it. Otherwise, change it accordingly. Leave it, yeah. Don't touch. What is the name? MVCDB entities. Click on the next button. Asking another question. Which version of the NT framework shall I use? 6.x, 5.0. 5.5, we don't have any version here. 5, only one version. And the 6 only we have so many. 6.0, 6.1, 6.2. Like the last version is 6.4.4 right now. So better choose NT framework 6.x. Click on the next button. And now it is retrieving the database information. It loaded you all the tables what you have created as well as all the procedures what you have created. Check it out. These are all the tables and procedures you have created now. Select what tables you want. I want to work with the same 2 tables what we learned in the last example. Department table, employee table. Clearer or not? Department table and the employee table. And click on finish button. You will see a visual representation of the tables. This is what I said here. No manual configuration. It's a wizard. So you run the wizard, you do. No need to drag and drop anything. You want procedures? You can select procedures also now. Procedures also will come for you. Okay. Well, let it generate. It takes a bit time, guys, just to generate them. What did it say? ADMX is the name you're given now. We call this as a diagram. This is called as a diagram, and the diagram is going to show you the objects what you have selected. It will even show you the relationship between the two tables. See now, first one, department, second one, employees. You have the three properties in the department, remember now? ID, name, location, employee ID, employee name, job, salary, DID status. Yeah, but so something we are seeing more here. What is that? Navigation properties. I said you, NT framework came with some advanced features. NT framework came with some advanced features. An advanced feature in NT framework, it provides you something called as navigation properties. It will provide you something called as navigation properties. Because of this navigation properties, if at all you want to access data from the two tables, if you want to access the data from the two tables, you don't again require to define one combination class as we done in the last example. We defined your own class called DEPT, EMP DEPT, remember? With combined properties, again written a join, loaded data into that, and then we use it that in our applications. Yes or not? But not required now. Not required now. I want to access the data from employee table also, department table. See, these two tables have a relationship now. What is a relationship? Parental relationship based on the department ID. Correct or not? Okay, tell me. For one department, how many employees can be there? Louder. Multiple. For one employee, how many departments will be there? Means it is a one-to-many relationship now. Yes or not? One department can be having multiple employees. And the same way, if you see in the reverse, it's a one-to-one relationship. One employee can have only one department. Watch carefully. What is the name of the navigation property in the department? Employees. You understood now? Employees. It is a one-to-many relationship. One department can have multiple employees. Come to employee now. You have a property, not department styles. What is it? Tomorrow, the relationship is many to many. The relationship is many to many. Here we find the employees and here we find departments. Like tomorrow, not this example here. You have a supplier and a product, customer and a product. Customer and a product. One entity is product here, one entity is customer. One product can be purchased by multiple customers. One customer can purchase. See now, it's a many to many relationship. We will see all these things here going forward. One to one, one to many to many. We'll see all these things. What we are seeing now? One to many and other side one to one now. Are you clear? If you look from department direction, what is it? One to many. If you look from employee direction, one-to-one relationship. It's a one-to-one relationship what we have. So because of this here, if I want to navigate, if I want to access the data from department table corresponding to an employee. So listen, I want to get the data from the employee table and also the corresponding department information from the department table now. Are you getting me? Last class, to get this, how did you write? You written a join. Tell me, how did you write? From DC dot from E in DC dot employees join D in DC dot departments on E dot DID equals D dot DID. Okay, any where clause required, you written a where clause where E dot status is equals to true. Then you said select new of, open the curly braces, and then you're telling E dot employee ID, name, E dot job, E dot salary, E dot status or something, D dot department ID, D dot department name, and D dot location. Like this, you fetch the data from the two tables now. And to capture this, you separately created one model class. Okay, we did not fetch the status now. And lastly, we did not fetch the status. Only this. And you defined a model class with all the 6 properties now. Sorry, 7. ID, name, job, salary, department ID, department name, and location. You defined a class called EMP with all the 7 and loaded into that. Correct? But you don't require all this nonsense now. How do you get the data? I want to get the data from 2 tables. Watch it. From E in BC dot employees, where E dot status is equals to true. Okay. Select new of what are the columns you want? E dot ID, E dot name, E dot job, E dot department ID, E dot did you understand that? What is department? Navigation property. Hey, see, you called E dot ID. It's part of your class now. You called E dot name, you called E dot job, you called E dot salary. Same way you can call E dot department also now. But this department will provide you access to the department. Watch it there. If I select either a primary key or a foreign key here, just observe it carefully. I'm selecting the DID. Immediately few things gets highlighted. Watch it. Oh, not there. If I click on the link here, few things are highlighted. See what were highlighted? Both the 2 tables and navigation properties are highlighted now. So what is the meaning of it? That property is working based on the relation between the 2 tables. But whenever I see, even I select here also it will happen. See, I select department. Highlighted, see, I selected employee. Department will provide access to department. Employee provides access to list of employees. So what it provides access to? List of employee. Department provides access to department. So we call them as navigation properties. This is a new thing that Microsoft has introduced and linked to entities. So that tomorrow you are working with the 10 tables also. If relationships are there, use the navigation properties and you can access the data from the tables without writing any joins. No need of writing any joins. So I don't require my separate class to combine both the 2 things now. So are we not going to design it, sir? No. That is why I said you one example. I want to show you the complexity in that and how to simplify this. That's why I started with the same 2 tables now in the next example. Are you clear, guys? But there we have a complexity of designing a separate class, loading all the data. But today I don't have any complexities now. This navigation properties will help me in accessing the data. Hope you are clear with the navigation properties, all of you. Come on, come to Solution Explorer, man. I forgot to show you. This will add you a reference to NT framework. So before you go for doing this, just check it out here. These 2 are newly added. What? NT framework.SQL server are newly added for you. Okay. Next, yeah, come here. Just observe it, all of you. This is your EDMX. Under that, you'll find a few items here. And here comes your there. Everything is present under one file. In link to SQL, everything in one file. MVC DB data context, under that only context class, under that only model class, everything came there. Tomorrow 10 or 20 model classes here means all in one file is confusing now. So that's how they separated. What is it? All the context class here, the context will be present here, expand and see. What you have is only a file called context.cc and this is your context class now. So context class name is different. Yes, name is different. What is the name of the class in our link class here? Data context. MVCDB data context. Actually, what that MVCDB came from your own designer name. But here see, I did not give my EDMX name as like this, but already I configured the database in the time on there. That's it, is directly written that name only. So what is the name? Entities. What is the parent class of the data context? Data context. Namespace. Lot of time you have. Saturday you don't have a class. Sunday you don't have a class. Practicing a system.data.link. Here, the parent class is DB context. What is the name? And the namespace is system.data.entity. System.data.entity. See, basically class names are different, that's all, but everything is same only. Okay, just a second. One side we have link to SQL. Other side link to entities. What are the changes we are noticing till now? Let us highlight him. Here, first one, no navigation properties. Here, provided with navigation properties. Okay, now, second, parent class of data context is data context one. Our parent class of the context class, I'll simply say context. Of context classes, data context under system.data.link namespace. Come on. Parent class of context class is DB context under system.data.entity namespace. Is that clear? We'll open and show you. Come on, watch it. Go to the class DB context. What I said, your system.data.entity is the namespace. That is the parent class. That is the parent class. Actually, we simplified the code here, I'd say. What put that in this side by side and check it out. Right, write your system.data.link.data context. Very lengthy statement, it writes there now. To watch it, it is confusing reading big lines of code. But it is simple. Simply showing as DB context. Okay. So this is the class you have. And watch it, there is one and only one constructor, no confusions at all. There is only one and only one constructor. What is the constructor? MVCDB entities. Guys, do you remember this? When your parent class doesn't have a default constructor, you need to call your explicit constructor by using the base keyword. Actually, DB context class doesn't have a default constructor here. What it has, a constructor which takes string as a parameter. It takes and I'm calling it either base of array. Base refers to what? Parent class, DB context. The mouse there, it will tell you. What are we taking? What is this, sir? Array, the key name in your config file now. What do you mean? MVCDB entities. At the configure wizard I showed you now. That is the name. Sir, my class name is also same only. Yeah, that is the beauty here. If your class name and key file name are same, I repeat, if your class name and key file name are same, you don't require to read anything at all, it will automatically read. If your class name and key file name are different, you need to read it again. Are you clearer or not? So both are having the same name now? Ignore it, it will take care of it. But if names are different, then compulsory, I need to pass it explicitly. Okay, I'll show you practically. Hold on a minute. I'll change the name and show you. What will happen. Okay. So meanwhile, you can just say no 4 constructors here. One and only one constructor. No headache of 4 constructors, 3 constructors. No. One simple constructor. Which constructor? Now straight away go and create the instance of this class here in the place of data context instance. Now create this class instance. What is the name? MVCDB entities. DC is equals to new MVCDB entities. No need to pass a connection string. Nothing required at all. Are you getting me or not? But there, see, you need to read the connection string, pass it always. But I don't require to do anything right now. Everything gets simplified. Watch it out. So many things I'll show you, different things. Watch. Departments, employees. Their student. We also have students. What type? Table of student. What is that? Student. And now the table is replaced as DB set. The table is replaced as DB set. Third difference. We have table, class, hold. Model data. What came now? We use a DB set class to hold model data. Sir, again, what is this DB set? I said you one thing already clearly. Sir, I don't know how to work with the table. I don't know how to work with the DB set. None necessary of your work. What I said to you? What I taught you? Simple concept. To list. That's all. Everything will come out of it a list and you know how to work with a list. That's enough. So just what is the name of the class? DB set. None of my business, right? I will directly go and say to list. It will come out of it a list. Start working with a list. So don't bother. It's a table. It's a DB set. All these are unnecessary for us. I'll show you practically first. Wait. Okay. So that's what. Simple code, man. Go and open your context class and see. Array, constructors, lot of nonsense you'll find there. But see how simple the code is now. One and only one constructor. What is this on model creating? I'll tell you practically. Just the two simple properties. These are your tables now. You do all the curl on this only. They will done all the curl on the table. Now, DB set. The names are important. Nah. Employees. Now also employees only. Departments. Now also departments. Go for selecting a student. You'll get students. Okay. This is your context. This is your context. What is the name of the context? MVCD entities. Sir, can I change this name, sir? I want to name it as context only. You can do that in code first, but not in DB first. DB first, you need to follow this approach. Code first is there. Give your own name. Everything you can give your own names now without confusions. Okay, now? Well, now see, here what you have is only context class. And what about the model classes? Are all are present here, separate files. But they're everything in one single file. Remember, designer.cs, all context class, model class, everything on one file. Confusing, but yeah, separately. Not only separately, they minimize the code also. If you expand it and see, very simple code. Go and check your previous example, guys. You'll find a lot of nonsense methods there. Property is all these things. Nothing is there. Only one constructor. And all your three properties plus navigation property. Your navigation property is a collection of employee. It's a one-to-many relationship. Employees is which type? Collection of employee. Come on, come to employee now. All same. Here what do you have? Department. Which type? Department type only. Department only. Here, employees is collection of employee because it is a one-to-many relationship. But here, one-to-one. Department is which type? Here, department type. Okay. So what you do is your previous project is there now. Open it. Just put the side by side. Open to the Solution Explorer. Expand and check it out. How much code got minimized of here? Very simple, clean, easy code you will find. You will not find anything complex as we saw in our earlier days. That's it. Employee. Okay, check. I'll show you our previous project. What's the name? MVC with link 3. All code in one single file. Which file? Designer.cs. Come on, guys. Designer.cs. All classes here only. Expand the employee class C. Go and see physically, you'll find a lot of code there. Directly, let's go to the file. Say, context first. Okay, all the constructors. Then the navigation properties. Sorry, then this property representing our tables. Now, department. See there. Lot of coding present. Same way, employee, all the fields, then a set of methods, all the properties. But there what be done? Automatic properties. What is used there? Automatic properties. Come and see in the latest. No fields. Directly they gone for using automatic properties in this context. So I don't require to have any logics and all. Very simple minimized code. So is everything ready? Now did I write any coding? What did I do? Tell me. I configured the project and I selected what are the tables I want and I clicked on the OK, generated everything. I was only showing you what is present there. That's all. Understood me or not? What I'm showing you, what is present there, that is what I'm showing you. I did not ask you to write any coding at all. All this. Sir, can I directly use my domain classes? Sorry, can I go designing my controller? Can I design my controller now? Controller views and all the things. Okay, see the other beauty of NT framework. Watch. We never used it. See that. I said you, but I never shown you. You want a controller, right? Right click, add. Just a minute. Once build your project, before doing this, build your project. Because changes won't save and it won't recognize. So just to build your project every time. Every time after the designers or the tools are generating the code, let's make the habit of building the project. Okay. It's still building. Okay. Now right click on the controller, add controller. You know how to add a controller now? Look at the third option now. Use that. It will design the controllers to you. It will design the views to you. Everything is automated. No need to write even a single line of code. Shall I select it? Come on, watch, add. It will ask you few things. What is the model class? Tell me. Because we have two classes now. Which class, based on which class you want me to design? Employee. Please also tell me what is your context class? Entities. That is your context class. Okay. And come below, it's asking, what shall I name your controller? It is telling as employees controller. I want to change it as employee controller, whatever it is, your choice. Click on the add button. And guys, watch. Read that. It's installing some NuGet packages and telling it may take some time to that. Just to press keep hold, I'll generate everything for you. It will generate. Remember, we used to write 7 methods. What are the 7? Tell me. Display employees, display employee, add employee, get post, edit, update, delete. It writes 8 methods. For delete also it will write 2, get post. For insert also get post, for edit also get post, delete also get post. Yes, the 2. Display all, display single. Every time execution, what you will start first, display all or display single, update, insert, delete. Display all. So we used to put the address bar employee/display employees. But if the name is index here, simply if I say employee, I'll get all the display all for by default now. Tell me, without naming it as a display employees, if I name as index, simply if I type the controller name, it will come off now. No need to type my action method name now. Am I correct? It followed the same thing only. Watch. See the first method. What is the method name, guys? Index. In that, load the employees. What is DB? Is your NP's instance. See there, you did not pass any connection string there. Notice that simply you created the instance and you're calling DB dot employees. And what is this? Include department means when you're loading employee data, get me department data also. I want to show this. I want to show that data here and passing all to employees, return view, employees dot. See there, calling the method. Which method? To list. You already know to list now. Next, single record. For single record, the method name is details. What are you passing? ID. It is checking now. If ID is null, it is telling you bad request. Why ID cannot be null now? Or ID cannot be null. ID must be passed. It will be bad request. No, ID is not null. If ID is not null, you want to search for that record now. How did you search? You search it by writing some single lambda expression, something. No need all these things here. Direct method is there. Find method. You learned about this method in your radio.NET. Do you remember? Data table provides you a find method that can search on a primary key column. Exactly. See, employees.find. Find based on the ID. It will search on the primary key column now and returns your employee. If employee is null, what is the meaning? You enter a wrong number, not existing. Return, not found. Otherwise, return view employee. Okay, again, create. Create is nothing but insert. Create is nothing but insert. So return view. What is this? This is another beauty now. What is, this is going to get you the data for your drop down. Here we written a method, a separate property and all, nothing required. Declare one view bag with the name of your property and assign the values. Bind this view bag directly to your control. It will load up the data. No need to write any extra code. See, this is inbuilt code. Next example, I will write all manual and show you. Are you getting me? Here I will just only generate it out automatically. Next example, I want to use Entity Framework controller. I will take a full controller and add all the code. Then I will explain you what happens in every line there. Okay, now? And this is for insert post action. It's a post action. See there, add. Array. What is that? Method name changed. What changed, sir? The method name became easy now. That's all. Add. Next. Save changes. Look. And save changes. It also has some annotations here. Checking now. Is the model state valid or not? If model state is not valid, if valid, then only this code is executing. This code is executing. Return. You also done the same thing only, na? Redirect to action and transfer it now. Next one, edit. See now, ID null, bad request. Again, find method. Employee not existing, not found. Existing, return that employee. Edit. Edit became easy. Update became easy. In update, what did I taught you? Override all the old values to the new values. Correct? Earlier we have 4 or 5 properties here. Imagine your table has 100 fields and user can update any of the 99 fields now. You record right 99 assignments now. 99 old values, 99 new values. Correct? No need. Simple. They introduced a method called as entry with a state called modified state. If I set this and call save, it will update automatically. I don't require to do any old value assignment and the new value assignment. Simply I need to call the method called entry. And further I require to set the start now. What is the state? Modified. And simple call save changes, it will update you. No need single or default, first or default, create a reference, override the old value with new values. All that nonsense is not there now. Clear? Next what? Delete. Again, this delete, find the same only now. And how to delete? Remove. Do you remember the method name? delete on submit. Now, see, method names became easy. Method names became simple and easy now. Update became easy. Update became easy. Now, not only easy, descriptive also. Save the changes. The submit changes, save changes. Which one is descriptive? Insert on submit, simply add. Delete on submit, simply remove. Easy terminology to use for everyone now. Understood or not? Okay. So it has created you all the things. And come and see now. It has created you the employee controller, goes to the view, it has created all the views. If not for delete also. If not for delete also. Run guys, run and see the output. Which one? What is your controller? Employee. No need to type slash display employees. Index action is the default method now. Just call the employee controller, should launch you the index action method. And we'll show you the data from both the two tables. Check it out. Name, job, salary, status. See name, department name also came here. Location not coming, the design it like that only. ID, they removed that. What things you put, that only will come now. They designed it like this. See, edit. We called view, they called it details. Is it not the same way you designed in the last few examples? But there we called insert in the bottom, it has put on the top. Maybe the alignments can be changed, that's all. But the process did not change. Again, create new. Launching new, create new now. See there. And when I do, I was very clear. Don't show marketing first. To show me select department. I was very clear. When you write code, these are the benefits now. But here, see, suppose if the user did not select anything, by default, marketing, you go for everything now. So it's a bad way. What do you have? Select the department. And they're giving a drop down, asking the user to do it. No, I don't want to. See, create is a button now. Create will create you. Create will create the appropriate record. Okay, just giving a name. Pavan. Job is salesman. Okay, and salary some 20,000. And coming to department ID, I'll select sales, status checker, and I'll say create. Got your record. Okay, again say create. So this is cancel. Back to list. Back to list. Now I'll go for details. This is the design of the layout they followed, but we used to follow tabular layout. That's all our choice now. Okay, you're just getting up the appropriate information. Back to list. Actually, another mistake is we deleted this record in the last class. We deleted this record, but we updated the status. But now it is coming off. Why? In the code, there is no condition. In the code, there is no condition. Only watch it, guys. Tomorrow we will fix all these things. We will write everything manually. Understood? Okay. Well, you can go for edit. I can go for edit. I want to update the status and click on save. Status updated of C. Status updated. Now all are active records only now. There are no inactive records. All are active. And come to delete. This delete will completely delete up the record. Be careful. When I click delete, it's not asking for any confirmation, guys. Watch it. Are you sure you want to delete this employee? Delete back to list. No, I'm sure. Delete. Okay, then click on delete. Record deleted. Physical deletion only. Why? That's inbuilt code. It has done a physical deletion. Got it? And you observe this. These are all your views that are created. First one, index. Guys, watch this. It was using employee only. There is no EMP, DPD or anything, only employee. Then how did you get the department data, sir? Watch. Navigation property. See, model dot status, same way, model dot department dot dname. As I want location also. Let's add mines. It's in our hands only. Add it. Location also will come. Okay, location also will come for you. And here it was giving a blank cell. But what did we used to do, you know? We used to put a subtitle called actions. Yeah, there. Item, job, salary. Again, same. Copy once. The navigation property is picking the data from both the two tables now. And I don't require to bother about the other. It will load me based on that. And here you see all three. What's the key? ID. Is it the same way you passed it now? Understood my point? Here they're given as item. And what they given is student or EMP something. That's how it used to mean. Okay, but here it named as item. So this is index.cshtml. Next one, details. Single record man and check. Name, job, showing you all. Here showing you department name, not showing location. Add same. What's it? Location. Location. Next, create begin form. I'll explain about this one. In the filters class, I'll explain about that one. We'll talk about it. Ignore it. See there. It was using a to display the error messages. To display the error messages. And now see what is it using? Editor for. See, label for. Editor for. Go and check your data annotations class. I showed you the same thing for you. Label, editor, validation, message for. Again, it's giving the options to choose, enter the things now. Okay. And in the bottom you have submit, a create button. And we named it as cancel. What we named it? Cancel. And it is named as back to list. And this is edit. Edit here. Edit view, insert view both look same now. Edit view, insert view both looks same only. Then we have delete. It's asking you, are you sure you want to delete this? Asking you, showing all the information. And after showing all the information, it's putting a button. What is it? Submit button. And the click of it, it is going back to delete and deleting of the record. Deleting of the record. It was using some bootstrap stylings and all the appropriate things. And they said that only cancel button is also there now. This is cancel button. One side will have delete, one side will have like back to list. That's not very cancel. And you notice your buttons are not looking like button at all. Your buttons are looking like bam. Have you noticed that? They are not looking like a button at all. Just like normal text it is. Why? We use some bootstrap styling for that here. And that bootstrap styling is just not showing you this one. They use this default styling. That is why even though you launch a button, it's not looking like a button there. So when I click on delete, just looks like a plain text. When you put your mouse, it will work like a button. Okay. Change it BTN primary, BTN secondary, a lot of options we have. You can just use the appropriate styling you want. Are you guys clear? Yes or not? Again, see, all of you do this. What is it? Here it was configure. You did not write even a single line code. Remember that. You did not write even a single line code. What you typed is only the name of your PDMXL, your test of that cell. Other than that, you did not do anything at all. Project name and that's it. Understood me? So keep up this project. and also use NT framework to generate all the things. Run it, watch it. Now compare the model classes with the old one and the new one. Are you getting me? Your last example, you found both are dealing with the same tables only. Just put them side by side and try to compare. Tomorrow, I will teach doing all these things manually without taking the help of the scaffolding. I will use the scaffolding to generate all these things. NT framework compulsory, that is compulsory. But view creations and all, I use scaffolding. Without using scaffolding, I'll show you. No joins, how to get the data from both tables, all the things we'll see in detail. Let's stop here. We'll be now.
Recording stopped.